When people say pollinators, what do you think of? Most likely you're thinking of the honeybee, the king of pollinators, or queen. But what if I told you that honeybees don't do most of the pollinating, and there are other pollinators that are more efficient? Enter the leafcutter bee. Leafcutter bees belong to a group called solitary bees, which means they have no colony. The mom raises her brood all by herself. The bees have just emerged from their cocoons and are looking for a place to nest. A lot of solitary bees seal their nest with mud. But these bees seal their nest with leaves, hence their name. But how are these bees better than honeybees at pollinating? But before I answer that question, let's look at the bees' interesting life cycle. I poured the bees on top of their custom nest and they'll just crawl into the holes. These long narrow tubes will be where the bees lay their eggs and the larvae mature. After a week, the nests are mostly capped. But what goes on during that period? The bees will go in and out of their nests, carrying home a delicious treat that will benefit their children, which is pollen. Pollen is protein rich, which is great for larval development. What sets solitary bees apart from honeybees is that they collect pollen as their main source of food. This makes them, and a lot of other solitary bees, more efficient at pollinating than honeybees. Here is a bee rubbing pollen off its body. The bees will then clump the pollen into balls, lay a single egg, and close the capsule, and then redo the process. The pollen will go on to feed the larvae for the rest of their lives until they metamorphose. Unlike honeybees, leafcutter bees keep most of their pollen on their abdomens. Here is a row of leaf cells. Part of the cell is folded into a different one, kind of like a stack of paper cups. Here's the larvae inside of its cell. It's finished eating its pollen. It takes up all of the space in its leafy haven. It's very plump and practically helpless. This is a picture of a different larvae. You can see that it's feeding on the pollen. When the time comes, the brood spin cocoons to aid themselves during the vulnerable time of metamorphosis. But sometimes a cocoon isn't enough to protect you, as this unfortunate larvae found out. This is a parasitic wasp. It is one of many that have emerged from a cocoon. A female wasp deposited her eggs into the cell before it was sealed. The wasp eggs then hatched, ate the pollen loaf and the larvae. Leafcutter bees are important to agriculture, as they are also used commercially. Farmers use them to pollinate crops such as alfalfa, onions, blueberries, and a lot of other vegetables. Growing leafcutter bees is also a profitable business. It is most popular in Europe. The bees improve crop yields. As honeybee numbers decline, there is renewed interest in using leafcutter bees to pollinate more crops. There's a huge public obsession with honeybees. But we shouldn't forget about all the other pollinators out there.